everybody, or afternoon, whichever time of the day it is for you. My name is Tammy and I work at the Portland District Library, and we are going to learn how to make this really unique and pretty Four Seasons Wreath. I've also heard it called the Tree of Life, so whichever one you prefer is good. So you should have already stopped at the library and picked up your take and make bag. So let's see what is in it. This is what you would have gotten. So you have your instruction sheet. Take out all your supplies and lay them on the table. You've got your wreath, your little thing of paint, and your Q-tips for the paint. You should have 5 of these jute things in here, plus one just skinny strand, and that's your hanger, so we'll leave that. So you're going to get out all your supplies. You'll have 5 of these. You'll have a bag of moss. You'll have your glue sticks, a glue gun, and a bag of rocks. So get everything out and just lay it on your table because you're going to need it. I'm just going to put this all back in here because I already have my stuff out. Set this one aside. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is your wreath. And you want to take off that name of the wreath sticker and throw that away. And then you're going to need your small piece of twine because this is your hanger, so we want to put that on first. So I usually just go where it's kind of glued together and make that the top. And you're going to take your jute and you're going to tie a knot into it. Just a regular old knot. Pull it good and tight. Then, right where that comes together, you're going to lay it over it. I'm just going to make a little slip thing to hang it. So I like this to be kind of hidden in the back, this part. So I tuck the other end through it and just pull it up, and that's your hanger. And we'll cover the rest of it up when we wrap the other bigger jute around this. So this is fine, just like that, and that part's done. Now you're going to take all of your jute that is pre-packaged here, and you're going to open it all up, and you're going to just lay it all out together because you want it all ready to go when you're wrapping it and gluing it around, so you don't have to stop and do this in the middle. So take that off and clip the plastic thing, and do that on all 5 of your packages of jute. Make sure it's untangled and ready to go. No knots. You're going to want to turn your hot glue gun on, so get that out of the package. I have mine, because these don't have an on and off button, I have mine plugged into a power cord that has like the push button on and off switch, because it's just easier to reach over and turn that off and on, or with your foot than have to unplug it and plug it back in every time, because it will just keep pouring the glue out when we're not using it. So I'm going to turn mine on so it gets good and hot. Where you're going to start at is at the top. And you're going to take your first strip of the jute, and you can start it however you want. You can start it on the inside or the outside, whichever. And once your glue gun is done, we're going to glue that on. So you're just going to do that. You're going to glue it on. In the beginning, I'll glue the first like 3 or 4 rows really well, and then after that you can do it just every couple of times that you wrap it around. You don't have to glue every single spot of this. So as soon as the glue gun gets hot, we'll go. Glue is starting to bubble out at the end a little bit, so I know it's hot. I have my extra glue sticks all ready to go because you're going to want them handy. So the first thing we're going to do is just pick your spot where you're going to start and take a little bit of glue and just spread it around. And it is hot, so be careful, you don't burn your fingers. But it does stay pretty well. I mean, I just stuck it on there and it's not moving, so I'm just gonna go all the way around with this glue on the first round anyways, because I want it to be sure it sticks well. And when you're wrapping this around, you will try to keep it as tight as possible and as close to possible, but you're gonna end up with gaps. It's just gonna happen. And we'll fix those at the end, after we're all done gluing this whole thing on, so don't worry about it too much. We need to put another glue stick in there. There we go. So we're just gonna do this all the way around like 3 times, just to make sure that it's stuck well. And then after that, we'll just glue every couple of times that we wrap it. Just want to make sure it stays on good. And we're just going to keep doing that until we're all the way around. And when you have to go to another piece because this one has run out, you're just going to do the same thing. Wrap the first couple of rounds and glue it real well, and then you're okay to do it every couple of times after that. So, all right, so I think this is pretty well stuck on here. So now I'm just going to wrap it a couple of times without gluing the whole entire thing. Just try and keep it close together. So I hold on to the end when I'm wrapping to try and keep it close. So I'm just going to put a little glue on here just to get it to stick well and not move on me. And that's it. You're just going to keep going all the way around. When you get to this end, you're just going to make sure that you go over those strings right there and keep this one out and glue right over the top so that it's all nice and tight and secure. All right, see, you're going to have some gaps just like that came loose a little bit. You can glue that down if you need to, or you can just hold it tight and just keep going, but you will end up with some gaps. And I'll show you what to do with those. All right, so we've wrapped the whole entire wreath, and this is what it's gonna look like. And see, I do have a few gaps here and there, and you should have extra twine at the end, so we're going to fix those spots with that. First, before we do that, we're gonna cut the strip that you're going to need to make the tree part. So you're going to take the end and just hold it over from top to bottom, right where your hanger is, and then cut that piece off, which I already did. No, I didn't. This is how we're going to make the tree. You're going to untwine it, just like that. We're just going to unwrap it. So we want to make sure that we have enough. So we'll do that. I'm going to cut this piece. And that'll work. You can always, you're going to have extra, so you can always add a little bit more underneath the top to make it, have more branches at the top or to have more roots at the bottom, and you'll just glue those on and then glue this big one on over the top of it, and it'll be fuller. Your project, you can do it however you like. So to fill in these gaps, you're going to glue them in. You're going to cut strips as long as you need. So that's about that big. So I'm just going to cut this. And use this spot. Put this with lots of glue in there. And I've done this a few times, and every single time I've had the gaps. So we're just going to, and up here at the top, your leaves, your branches are going to cover that, and at the bottom, all those stones are going to cover it, so you won't even be able to tell. So there's the first one. I would make sure that you're setting your glue gun on some paper towel or something, because as you can tell, your glue comes out and kind of drips all over. So just so you don't get it all over your table, or if you don't care, that's up to you too. All right. Add just a little more glue here. Like I said, be careful because the glue is really hot and it will burn your fingers. And it needs just one more little strip. That was a big gap. In fact, I don't think I really need all of that because it's not. So it kind of came apart because it was a small piece. So I'm just going to take part of it and stick it in here just to fill the greens. You can't see the green foam. And like I said, if it's at the top or the bottom, not to worry because your tree part is going to cover that up anyways. Glue with my fingers. Alrighty, so that gap is covered up. Now let's see, do we have any more? There's a few here on this side that we can just patch in. Oops. Got some glue stringers out here. Okay, well, there's a bigger one right here, so we'll do the same thing there. You can cut if you want. Get these all. All right, now that we've got all of our gaps filled in, we're going to glue our rocks on. So you should have a bag of rocks. Now you can put on as many rocks as you want. You can go halfway up, however you want to make it look. This is, I don't know if you can see this all the time, so I'll lay that over here so you kind of get an idea. But that will definitely make it heavy. Oh, I got glue on my table. So you're going to want to put these on the bottom, so find your holder here. Okay, glue on my fingers again. I'm sticking myself to my thing. All the glue is not dry yet. So this is your center point. So I start in the middle and work my way down, and you're going to just start gluing all of these rocks on. One at a time. And this glue holds them pretty well, so you just kind of have to hold it for a second and just be careful again with the glue because it is very hot. You can go all the way on the inside if you want. You can do this however you want to do it. I just kind of went over the top because it's going to be hanging up. So you're really not going to see the inside a whole lot, but because I didn't want to make it that heavy. So try and find some rocks that have like a flat side if possible. At least part of it. Makes it a little easier to glue on, but another glue stick. Once you get your rocks all glued on, then you're going to use that twine and make your tree. And like I said, if you want to make it so there's fuller branches, you can cut more of the extra twine you have left and put it on the bottom. Glue that on first and then untwine your piece that you cut and put over the top of it, and it'll just fill it in a little more. And if you don't, you just want to use it with the piece that you cut, that's fine too. I got all of these things at the Dollar Tree, just so you know. All the jute, the foam wreath, the box, everything came from the Dollar Tree, so it wasn't an expensive craft to do. It's something that's very reasonably priced, and you can make more for your friends and family. So I'm just going to put a few more on here just so you kind of get the idea. And then it's on there to glue the jute to. Okay, so you get the idea. Just keep going as far as you want. You can go all the way halfway, you can just go a bit on the bottom, you can go all the way underneath or up in here on the top, however you want to do it. So that's enough to glue our roots onto for now anyways. So now you're going to take your jute string and you're going to unwind the top of it and the bottom of it. Just don't let it all completely unwind because that's your tree part. So if you want your tree thicker, you can always get some extra jute, some extra bigger jute than this is. Or you could put two together. So just pull it apart. For your branches and your roots. And like I said, you can put extra down first if you want so that it's fuller and has more branches and roots. Or you could get thicker jute if that's what you want, so that it's already going to be fuller when you unwind it. Okay, so there's one end. All right. So there's your hanger again. So that's the middle, and that's where you're gonna make sure that you're there. You want your trees kind of straight right in the middle. So this part is going to go over your rocks, and this part is going to be your branches. So I'm going to do the rocks part first. And just be careful when you're doing this so that you don't burn your hands. And you're going to spread your jute over it and just place it however you want to. Now you're going to have more rocks than what I have here, so you can spread these branches out a little more, or these roots out a little more, sorry. This is the bottom. And then do the same with the top. So you're going to want to have a winter section, a fall section, a summer, and a spring. Since we live here in Michigan and we have all 4 seasons, we want them all represented. And I just put a little glue, like right in the middle, because I kind of want my branches flopping in the breeze a little bit, like a tree. So I just glued in the middle. All right, and that is all for that. This one's not quite down. A little more there. So now you have your tree there. It's all glued on. This is where your paint will come in and your moss. So you're going to need to get your paint closer to you. You should have little cups of green, red, yellow, orange, and white paint. So the green, bless you. My videographer there is sneezing. Okay, so we have green for spring and summer, and I just used the paint for spring because it's a little lighter, and then I used the paint and the moss for the winter, or for the summer, so that theirs looks more leafy, and then the fall colors, and then the white for the winter. So open your paint, and you can do whichever side you want first. I think I'm going to start with the winter side actually, because I'm left-handed, so that way I don't drag my hand around in it. Now you guys have little cups like the green is in. I didn't bother with that for me. So just dip your Q-tip into your paint and put it on your branches so it looks like you have snow or leaves or whichever side you start from. So. And that's all you have to do. And like I said, I use the moss for the summer. So once I paint the green for the moss, or for the summer, then I hot glue a little bit of moss on it as well to give it more branches so that there's a more distinctness between spring and summer. Whoops. Good thing you guys have cups because I just squirted paint all over. Comes out fast. All right. Okay, so then we have the fall colors. There's red, there's yellow, and orange. And you can put all three on, or you can do two, whatever you want to do. I should have used a cup, it would have been easy. And this one, you just kind of, if you're using all three colors, then you just put a little of each one. You can always go back and add more if you want. And a little yellow. You can use a paintbrush also if you would like, but the Q-tips work all right. All right, there's our winter and our fall. Now for the green. For the summer, I really went a little heavier with the paint because trees are full of leaves in the summer. And that, you can use moss as well if you like, or you can just use the paint. Don't worry, the paint washes right off. It's easy to get off your fingers. So if you get some on your hands, that's fine. Okay, so there's the summer. And now for the spring, I just do it lighter. The buds are just coming out on the tree branches. All right, paint is done. Now, if you're going to put moss, I I still have my hot glue gun on, so add a little bit of moss. And I only did this on the summer because spring doesn't really need any. And that's it. You can add as much as you want or as little. I would love to see your wreaths when you're all done. There is an email address on your instruction sheet in your bag, and I would love it if you would send me a picture to that email address so I can see it, and I'll share it with others on Facebook. I love to see the projects. So that is it. And your wreath is all done. Once it's dry, I would let it hang or just kind of lay here so that the rocks and stuff get a chance to really be glued on. But yours will have more rocks. So that's it. We're all complete. Thanks so much for joining me to make this pretty wreath, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good day.